Hello children, a big warm welcome to our channel Ammu and You, where Ammu loves to narrate stories from all over the world and stories of all types. Today, I have got a fairy tale for you. And children, do you know what a fairy tale is? How is it different from other stories? A fairy tale is where the characters are not real creatures. That means they are creatures of imagination. They are not humans or animals. They could be fairies, they could be gnomes, witches, goblins, etc., etc. These imaginary creatures, they become a part of the fairy tales. They make up very beautiful stories. And today I have one such very interesting story, Hansel and Gretel. Now, once upon a time, long, long, long years ago, there lived a man. He was poor. He lived with his wife and two children, Hansel, a boy, and Gretel, a girl. Unfortunately, out of illness, his wife died when Hansel and Gretel were just very small. So the man was crestfallen. Who will look after my children now? I need someone. They need a mother to love them, to look after them. So he married and got a second mother for the children. Children were very happy to get the second mother. The mother started looking after them, but very soon she started feeling that these two children are eating up a lot of food. They are sharing the meals. Obviously, they would eat. Everyone needs to eat. But what she felt was that her husband did not have enough money for all four of them to eat happily and to their heart's content. So she thought that if these two children were out of their way, then with whatever food was there, with the money that the man would earn, she and her husband could eat properly. Now, this was a very sad thought, but that is how she was, and she felt this more one day. While serving dinner, the children ate as much as they could. Children are at a growing stage, they run around, they play, they feel hungry. And the man also ate his meals, and the mother thought that there is so little left for me, and I really have to do something about it. After dinner, everyone went to bed, and suddenly Gretel heard some loud conversations from the room next door, which was the room of her parents. She heard her mother's angry voice, and listening to the angry voice and the weak, submissive voice of their father, she just wanted to hear what was going on. She got scared, and she heard the conversation and was shocked. She heard her mother say that these children eat so much, I cannot have them in the house anymore. You don't earn enough to feed all four stomachs, so these two have to go, and they will not stay with us. If you don't let them go, I will leave the house and go away. She threatened her husband. Gretel heard this, and she narrated what she heard to her brother Hansel. She started sobbing. What will happen to us? Mother wants to throw us away. How can we live without my father? I can't live anywhere but our home. Hansel said, why are you crying? Let us think. Maybe we'll find a way out. Go to bed. Don't worry. Suddenly, Gretel heard again her mother say, enough is enough. I don't want any of your whimpering. Tomorrow morning, I'm taking them to the woods and I will leave them there. And you dare not say a thing. Now Gretel said the same thing to Hansel again. And Hansel said, don't worry, sister. You just go to sleep. It's quite late now. And let me think what we can do. Gretel, sobbing, went to bed and soon fell asleep. Hansel just stepped out of the room to get some fresh air and think. And he saw some small, small pebbles and stones fallen on the ground. Immediately, a plan came to his mind. He picked up all the pebbles that he could and stuffed them in his pocket of the trousers. And he stuffed his pockets and then went back to the room and lay on the bed and fell asleep. Early morning, both the children were woken up by angry voice of their mother. You lazy children, still asleep? Don't you know it's time to wake up? You don't even work anything, and I have to look after you, even wake you up. Come on, get ready, and you are coming to the woods with me. I'm going to fetch some wood to cook, to make the fire and make some food on it. So get along and come with me. Now, both of them had heard the plan, so they knew what was going on in the mother's mind. But they did not say anything. And quickly, they got out of the bed, got ready, and started following their mother. As they were walking into the woods, what did Hansel do? Hansel started dropping a stone each, one at a time, all through the way. The stones and pebbles all through the way. Now the mother took them to a deep part of the wood. It was dark. It was surrounded with thick, big trees. And the sunlight was also not reaching the ground. So she said, it's shade here. Both of you sit here and wait for me while I go and get some firewood. Then I will come and fetch you and we will go home together. But she never came back. As the evening was setting in, Gretel started getting scared. It's getting late. It's getting dark. What if the animals come out? What if they come and eat us? Hansel said, Gretel, don't fear. Fear will not help us at all. Let me check. And he went out a bit further and he saw that his pebbles were lying there. And what did he do? He told Gretel, Gretel, now let's come follow the pebbles. And they followed the pebbles, and following them, they reached home. At home, they saw their father sitting very sad. He thought that he would never see his children ever again. And he had lost them forever. Seeing them both back and crying out to him, Father, he jumped out in joy and hugged them tight. Their mother was seeing all this and was getting furious in her heart. How smarties these are. How did they get back? Now tomorrow I'm going to do something about it and leave them even deeper into the woods. From there they will never get back. That is what she thought. And then she told them, come on, children, good that you're back. I was going to fetch you I had forgotten completely. Just look at the liar, isn't it? She made up a story. And then both of them had their dinner and went to bed. Again that night, they knew that something was going to happen the next morning. And sure, the next morning, their mother woke them up again, saying, "Come on, children, off the bed and come with me to the woods to fetch some more firewood." And they left. And children, what had happened at night, you know? Gretel had heard the mother planning again that she would leave the children again into deeper part of the wood. Hansel had said, "Don't you worry." But when he wanted to go out to get the pebbles again, he saw the door locked. The mother had locked the door, so he could not get any pebbles. And so children, when in the morning the mother woke them up, they had to leave with their mother. While leaving, the mother stuffed a loaf of bread into their hands, saying, "This is for you to eat. Come on, eat it while we are going to the woods." Gretel started having her loaf of bread. Both of them were hungry, but Hansel was very intelligent. He started breaking the bread into small pieces and dropping the pieces behind him all through, just as he had done with the stones the previous day. They reached a deeper part of the wood now, and their mother said the same thing, that "Sit here and wait for me. I will come to fetch you." But children, she never came back. And in the evening, when Hansel said, "Gretel, don't worry, we'll go back finding the way," they set out, but no breadcrumbs. All the birds and small animals had eaten them up. Ants, insects, they had all eaten them up. And there was no path showing the way to home. Now Hansel and Gretel had nothing to do and no idea of the road back home. So Hansel, even at that moment, assured Gretel, "Don't worry, sister. Let us find a place to rest at night. Being scared will not solve the matter in any way." Saying this, they started looking around, going further, 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 till suddenly they came out to a clearing. And in that clearing, they saw a house. A lovely house, and a house out of nowhere in the deep forest. And children, the house was not an ordinary house. The walls were made of chocolate, brown chocolate and white chocolate. The windows had candies, and the roof was made of toffees. They couldn't believe their eyes. They touched to see whether it's really true. They broke a piece and they ate. Yes, it's cake. It's chocolate cake. It's lovely candy. They couldn't believe their luck. They just broke pieces, sat there and ate hungrily. They feasted on the chocolates and the candies from the wall. Suddenly, children, the door opened and an old woman, very old lady, with a bent back, stood there. She had white hair and she wore big, thick glasses. She had thin legs. And she said, "Hello, children. Hello. Please come in. Welcome to my house." The children got scared. "Don't you worry. I am old, and so I speak like this. Come in. It's dark. Night. There are animals. So come in and take rest." Now Hansel and Gretel had no other option, so they went in. And the lady took them inside and shut the door behind. And as soon as she took them inside, children, she said, "After a long time, I have found two lovely children to eat. I will feast on you one by one." She couldn't see properly, children, because she was old and she was wearing very thick glasses. So she could not see very well. So she just took hold of the hands and she held Hansel's hand and said, "You really seem to be very thin. It would not be nice to eat you. I will make you fat and then I will eat juicy, juicy flesh." Saying this, she took him and dragged him and shut him inside a room and told Gretel, "And you, girl, you are going to cook for both of us. Lots of food so that this boy eats and gets fat fast." Saying this, she laughed. "Ha, ha, 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 ha. This cottage of cake and candies is a trap for children like you." Hansel and Gretel looked at each other, and Hansel immediately quietened Gretel with the finger. Shh, 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 shh. Gretel was about to cry, but seeing her brother signaling to be quiet, she kept quiet. And Hansel was put inside a room and Gretel had to work. Then she went to sleep and told this Gretel to cook for all three of them. Now Gretel was a little girl. She would do the cooking, and when the witch would go off to sleep, brother and sister would sit and cry. Sit together how? The brother inside and the sister outside. They would just hold each other's hands and sit. They could do nothing. But Hansel said, "Gretel, don't cry. I have a plan. Just play along with me." Saying this, Gretel was assured that her smart brother definitely had a plan. Every day she would cook, the witch would eat, Gretel would eat, and then Hansel would also get to eat. And after eating, this evil witch would go and tell this Hansel, "Come on, show me your finger. Let me see. How fat have you become?" And smart Hansel would just stick out a small stick that he had with him. The witch could not see well. She thought it was his finger. "You're not getting fat at all, you naughty boy. Eat more, eat more. It won't be fun to eat this bony boy, skinny pony boy." And she would instruct Gretel to cook more and more food. Like this, a week passed by, and after that, one day at night, Hansel told Gretel what to do next day. And when the witch came to eat food and check Hansel, Hansel shoved his finger out. Yeah, there's some fat now. I think today you are ready to be eaten up by me. Saying this, she told Hansel that today she wants her to cook her own brother. Cook her own brother. How cruel this witch was, children. And Gretel was ready with a plan. So when she ordered to cook, what did she do? She took a big pot and put it on the fire. Now, when the cooking was done, the witch said, "Is the cooking over?" So Gretel, as planned, said, "I can't see if it is over. You have to see it. I'm too small to look inside the pot." As soon as the witch went near the pot, what did Gretel do? She pushed her with all might, and the witch tumbled screaming like this into the pot, and she was cooked, and the whole thing caught fire. Gretel quickly went and freed her brother. Both of them looked around and found so much of treasure in boxes. They carried as much as they could, and they left for home. And when they looked here and there, and with some help, they could recognize the way, and they reached their father. They saw him sitting out, sad. They jumped into his arms. The father said, "I'm so sorry, children, to have done what I did, but God punished your evil mother. She died. A tree fell on her and she died. And I didn't know where to look for you." So now the children showed him all the treasures that they had got and took him to the forest in the cottage, and they became rich and they lived happily ever after. How was the story, children? Nice? And what beautiful takeaways? Never be scared. Howsoever difficult a situation may be, like Hansel, always try to think of a plan, of a solution, how to make the situation better, how to solve the problem. That should be always the state of mind. You could see so many difficult situations that children faced, but Hansel never gave up. And that was the reason they could come out of this problem and lived a happy life. They were good children. They were rewarded by finding the treasure of the evil witch who had to die. Children, you know what to do. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, share it with your friends, and be good. And wait for Ammu again next week with another story for you. Till then, thank you so much. Ammu loves you. Bye-bye.